Okay, we live. What's going on, good brother?
Hey, what's good? What's good?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Been looking forward to this conversation for some days.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so for those of you that are, here and watching, we appreciate y'all. For those of you that are not quite subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, share this, like it, love it, get it out. This is definitely a conversation that we welcome, all forms of engagement. Um, but I am Lance, the chart god, and Russell. You can
Man,
introduce yourself.
Russell Hughes, the Crypto Archangel.
All right. So this conversation was kind of born out of our inbox. So me and Russell, we be in the inbox all day just talking about random shit. And we got onto a conversation about free versus paid services. And so we were like, we should actually have this conversation live, because we believe it can help some people. And plus, it'll give some other people an opportunity to weigh in. And I really hope that a lot of people that are like really new to the space and are kind of on the fence as to, well, should I just do YouTube University or should I go to this person and pay, whatever they charge for this knowledge that I really want to get. So we're gonna have that conversation. Thank you guys. What's up, Jose? What's up, Fred? Atifa, how you doing? Lamont, what's
Doing
happening?
good. Good.
Censorship, what's going on, man? I'm glad you all are here. So I'm gonna try to remember to cycle back and forth so I can look at the comments. Russell, I don't even know if you can you. No, you probably wouldn't be able to see the comments either
Oh
on your
yeah,
side.
I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
Oh, you looking at them? Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
So
see
you can
phone.
help out with the comments then,
Hmm?
if you don't mind. All right,
Oh,
so
no problem. No problem.
cool. All right, so I got a short little presentation thing as we navigate through the conversation. Um, Russell, let me know if you can see my screen.
All right. You have the free versus paid on up there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so free versus paid, who's really for the culture? That is what we're trying to answer today. And why are we having this conversation? We're having this conversation because we're trying to white flag that entire argument and narrative that we see, especially in the Black community, surrounding the intent and value of free versus paid services. So we see people on both sides of the argument, but one of the big things or narratives that's being pushed in the community is that you can't possibly be for the culture if you're charging Black people for these services. So we're gonna have a little conversation about that. But I have a question for the audience. What is you guys' opinion on free versus paid offerings as it relates to the financial literacy space in our community? So let me know what you guys think about that, and we'll go through some comments in just a second. But some warnings and disclaimers before we dive right into the details. The use of the term guru is definitely not to be associated with the negative connotation that we've seen on social media. And for the purposes of this conversation, when we say guru, we just mean the person or the people that created whatever program, service, movement, etc. Also, price does not always equal value, and we won't be name dropping as I feel that undermines the integrity and the intent of the message. We're not trying to be messy or anything like that. We're just speaking in general and trying to help some people out there. So, again, what are you guys' thoughts or what's your opinion on free versus paid offerings as it relates to this space? I'd love to know, uh, what y'all think. What's up, Dave? Thanks for being here. What's up, Lenore? Corey, what's happening? David said, "Put your feet so high in the sky they have to go to the moon to pay for it."
Ah,
I'm with that. I'm with that. What's up, Lenore? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. What's your opinion on the whole free versus paid thing? All right, so we got a comment from Jose. Free works when you're just starting out, building your audience, but once you've shown value growth, free shouldn't be a part of your offerings. Gotcha. I feel you on that.
And then, what I'm learning is, a lot of these YouTube videos aren't really as good as we think they are.
Yeah, because even the free ones, they're only going to give you the so much. You know what I'm saying? And they can't possibly give you everything. Even the paid offerings can't possibly give you everything. But it's one thing to be out there trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together yourself versus having somebody that can shorten that learning curve. But that's just my opinion on that. Censorship says if it's worth it, the market will tell you. That is definitely true. Gregory, what's up? He says if you pay attention. I feel you. Corey says that people do not respect free. I definitely have seen that. I can't even argue with that. You're not paying for the information. You're paying for the time I spent curating and back testing the info. I definitely agree. I agree. I actually, when I first started out teaching, I hosted a webinar. I used to do a lot of webinars, and I hosted one that was kind of like just going over stock market basics. And I said, this is going to be completely free. Sign up here. We're going to do it on this date. And I didn't have one person to sign up at all. Nobody signed up. But when I used to do my little $20 webinars, I used to sell them things out. They would just go like crack on the street, man. People would just be lined up to get in there. But when I did the free stuff, ain't nobody want no part of it. Tifa says she's gotten great info for free and great info for a fee. So far, I've noticed that the fees kind of get you more questions answered and clarification. Yeah, that's a good point. And we're gonna touch on that a little bit too.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
Mm-hmm. Jose's agreeing with Corey. Lenore said, pay the cost to get in the room. I know the value I bring, so I don't offer free often. Okay. All right. Go ahead and stun on them. I feel you. I agree. I definitely agree with you. Okay, so I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get back into some of the discussion. So, all right, so how we gonna frame this conversation is we kind of came up with some elements that we feel are important elements that people should consider when deciding on what program to go with, whether it's a free program or whether it's a program that you're going to pay for. So the 5 elements of a valuable program, and in no way is this all inclusive, but these are just 5 elements that Russell and I came up with and figured and thought are very important. Number 1 is guru, 2 is culture, 3 education, 4 access, and then 5 students. So we're gonna go through that. And I'm gonna start off with asking you a question, Russell. What is it about and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for now. I'll just leave it like that. What is it about a guru that makes you want to spend your money? Like, what would inspire you to spend the money with Guru A?
It's really based on if I like them and I can relate to them. But now I'm kind of changing it about their info. What kind of information are they giving?
Right.
Can people easily interpret it? And act, or could this guru put out something that goes up 500% and no one acts because they don't understand why they should be acting?
Right. Okay. All right. Court says, "What's up, Court?" He says he only does free shit for kids. I feel you on that. Corey agrees. All right. So for me to answer my own question, I also like to be able to relate to the guru that I am considering spending my money with. Um, One of the things that really gets you in the door with me is your love for Black people. But that just gets you in the door. For me, it's not necessarily enough. Unless it's something that I've been like intentionally manifesting, like I'm not gonna just jump on something. I'm gonna watch you for a while. I'm gonna watch how you interact on social media, things like that, because I'm pretty big on whether my, I don't want to say moral compass, but I'm gonna say it for lack of a better term, but if our ideals align, you know what I'm saying? If over here agreeing with shooting up babies and shit like that, I'm not gonna spend money with you. If you talk shit about minorities within the Black community, I'm not gonna spend no money with you. So things like that are important for me. When it comes to me spending my money, I won't say I'm very attached to my money, but I'm of the thought that I'm not gonna help aid you in your cause if I don't agree with you. You know what I'm saying? So when we say guru, uh, things that at least things that I'm going to be watching for is what's their persona, what their social media looks like. Are they like rude as hell to their followers and shit like that? Have they been consistent with their message? Because we see some gurus out there, they own everything smoking, every train smoking, they trying to be on it. And that's it's all good. It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just not my thing. Um, does the guru seem to have integrity? Does that guru take accountability? Do they have a sense of self-responsibility? And a guru that fits my personality. Um, so as far as the free versus paid thing, we see it all the time on Twitter and other social media sites where there are gurus that give you information for free, but they still scamming. So you can't just assume that, oh, since this guru is giving out plays on social media all day at no cost, then they for the culture. Because what you'll find is a lot of these gurus, they'll get in a play, they'll have these large followings, they'll get into a play and they'll go and tell their followers, and their followers will pile in on that play and they cash out. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that people just coming into the space, they're not aware of that. You know what I'm saying? And
I,
that's not to say that
I see a lot of that in crypto. You know,
yeah.
folks they'll tell their followers to pile in the play, but won't tell them when they're getting out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Censorship says if it's enough gems in the free stuff, I'll pay for it. I feel you on that. Leave you wanting more. Lenore said people pay who they like. Totally agree. I mean, that's true. At the end of the day, if I don't like you, I'm not gonna give you no money. Like what I look like. That's just silly. That's like signing my 401k over to some white person. Just, here, take it, because that's crazy. Don't make sense to me. But what do you guys think? Those of you that are watching, what are some things that inspire y'all about a guru to say, I'm gonna spend some money with this person? Because I mean, we do it with strangers. I mean, I've spent money with people that I've never met in real life. And when I did spend money with them, I didn't really know them or have a whole lot of interaction with them, even on social media. At this point, a lot of the people that I interact with on social media, we've been interacting for, several years, and some of y'all I've met in real life. So, but as far as spending money with someone that I've never met, for me, it's got to be something about you that I really like. Um, I like you. You seem to be a solid individual. You're consistent in your message, and you seem very knowledgeable about what you're talking about. And really, can you solve the problem that I have? That's pretty much, what it boils down to for me. And yeah, Court is saying, people don't buy products, they buy other people. For sure, for sure. All right, so the second element of a valuable program, culture. What's the culture surrounding that guru's following? Like, is this some groupthink type stuff? Because I'm not with that. So if I'm trying to observe to see what the culture is like, and I see, a whole bunch of groupthink where nobody wants to hold the guru's, face to the fire for, whatever decision that they made. You know what I'm saying? Then that's a problem for me. And how does the people in that culture treat the dissenting opinions? Do they just attack people, or do they take that opinion into consideration before they just kind of go off the rockers with stuff? Okay, so we got some comments about the guru. Court says, in terms of the guru, longevity, and a distinct specialty, I prefer to work with people who only do what I'm paying them to do. I prefer not to work with the jack of all trades. I feel you. Because you can easily be a master of none. Corey says, I spend money to get info back to my people. I spend money with people I don't like all the time. See, that's a good point. Maybe that's an opportunity of growth for me, because I'd be like, I don't like you, so no, I'm not going to spend any money with you. I don't even want to hear what you got to say, and you might have some info that I need, but my ego, maybe it's my egos is kind of in the way a little bit, that just won't let me, see past that to get that piece of information that I really need. So, I mean, that's a good point, Corey. David says, I believe they can help shortcut my journey because they are further down the road than I am. I am my number one fan, so I'm not as big on the like. Okay. I feel you on that.
Yeah, because I've seen those cultures, man, where you say one bad thing and the whole group will get on there and just dog you.
For sure.
And a lot of times, when I used to see that, I'd be like, wait a minute, they're just asking a question for more understanding.
Simple as that. Jose says, if we have the same mindset, if they're a stand-up person, if you're recommended by someone who I hold trust with, that's definitely a big thing. Because I've definitely, when it's somebody whose opinion I hold in high regard, and they say, yo, I know you don't know this person, or if I see that, maybe you and some other person are connected, then I'll hit somebody in the inbox like, yo, who this person right here? And all you gotta say is, yo, they solid. And I'm like, all right, I'm cool. Just because, off the strength of my relationship with you, and I trust you, by default, I'm gonna trust that individual that you recommend. You know what I'm saying? That's how I get down. Until that individual gives me a reason to no longer trust them, and that's a different thing. And Fred says he feels the same way about the culture. And then Fred also says there are some gurus who are geniuses, but they shit on the people they say they want to help. My pride will impact the learning experience. Some folks you just gotta leave. That table ain't for you. Man, Fred, that's a bar right there, because I feel the same way. And that touches on the piece where I said, do they fit my personality? Like, if you just be talking shit and trying to put people down, I ain't with that. I really ain't with that. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know it's a difference between someone that just gives it to you straight with no chaser versus somebody that they just got some sort of insidious intent behind what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't like to rock with those types, for sure.
Yeah, because I have Guru, right, and I think like one of the greatest, but because of the way he talks to people and the way he
Yeah.
comes at people, it turns a lot of people off. And like when I say he has some of the greatest information I've ever seen, I'm not lying.
Mm-hmm.
But people were in my inbox all the time. I don't like him. Like, why is he doing it? I'm like,
I mean, people are who they are. Some people, really don't care, and that's that's their prerogative. But for me, at least right now, I'm like Fred said, my pride will impact the learning experience. So I ain't gonna get nothing from you, because I mean, my ego ain't gonna let it happen. So maybe I'll get there one day. Maybe one day. What's up, Brianna? Thanks for tuning in and watching. So culture, like I said, is there like a group think type of culture where, like you were saying, Russell, if somebody comes in and maybe they ask a question, or maybe they disagree with the overall opinion, how are they treated? Those are things that I'm watching when I'm, trying to make a consideration on, am I going to follow or spend some of my time? Because I mean, time is our most valuable asset, and people don't realize that. So even with the free, you're spending something. And for me, the free is even more expensive to me, especially if I'm not getting the value that, if it's not worth my time after, however much time it takes me to figure that out. Um, so that's the part, people don't think about either. And I'm of the opinion that when you spend money with someone, it's because you value your own time. Because if it's going to take me a year to learn something for free, and on the other hand, I can go to this guru over here and I can spend 500 and learn it in 3 months. I mean, the time trade-off, it just makes more sense to spend the $500. I mean, I'm out $500, but what's my return on the back end? Automatically, I get 9 months. You know what I'm saying? And people don't even consider that valuable because they're tying value to fiat. And it just doesn't make sense. But I mean, that's just how we were programmed, and it's hard to get out of that programming. Is there a lot of drama in the culture? Are they focused on the purpose of the group, or is it a bunch of just craziness every day? Like you wake up in a soap opera every time you log into the group, get on social media, you're seeing some drama about the group. That ain't the type of group that I want to be a part of personally, whether it's free or paid. So if I see something like that, if I see, people in drama all the time, I'm kind of going to just quietly step away. What you think?
Like with culture, I literally assess gurus how they handle people with different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
If they can handle that well, then that to me shows that that they're really good, because they're good at keeping control
Yeah.
without having to sick their people on them.
Yeah, and you see that a lot too, where gurus will sick their group on other people, and so they just immediately go attacking other people on social media. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of phony gang stuff on social media that I just don't want to be a part of that. Like I'm not a part of that in my real life, and I'm sure not about to be part of it on social media. And to put people in a position, first off, when you have a large following, in my opinion, there's a level of responsibility that comes with that, I think. And I think a lot of people abuse and misuse that responsibility. So that's something that, it's really delicate to me, that I definitely probably pay the most attention to when I'm, trying to make a decision about whether, I think I lost Russell, whether I support someone or not. I think I lost Russell. So what do y'all think? You know, those of y'all that are watching, when it comes to culture, do you feel like I missed anything as far as, you know, what to look for? What are some important things that you guys look for um, when it comes to the culture of a group? Russell is back.
Yeah, I apologize. You
All
know,
good, all good.
being in Texas, man, you'll get dead spots, hits.
Right, right. Corey says he does everything for his family and for the culture. Hey, I feel you. I'm with you on that.
Well, that's why you're solid.
Yeah, by the hood, man. But you know, everybody ain't like that, you know. So, and that's okay. You know, I'm definitely not. Uh, I'm not the one that's going to be making decisions on other people's lives and shit like that. So, you know, how you get it, how you live. Brianna says drama definitely shouldn't intermingle with knowledge at all. Like it really shouldn't at all. Like say the drama for those recreational groups that you like. Fred says I think customer service is a component of the culture. Yeah, that's definitely a good part that we left out. Yeah, customer service is big, man. It's really big, and you know that's another thing. If the customer service ain't good, I probably ain't gonna spend no money with you. Matter of fact, I was recently speaking with a guy whose services I do want, but I'm willing to wait and spend the money with someone else with better customer service because I just didn't like the vibes. So nah,
Yeah.
I
Listen,
will put my dreams on hold until the right person comes along to help me, you know, step over the hump.
listen, man. I had a guru literally. I would talk to him, every day after I would have losing days, and they would literally tell me everything that I did wrong, and I'm like, well, if you knew that people were going to do that, why didn't you put that plan out before?
Right, right, exactly. Jose says culturally they need to honor the culture, so no group attacks, no personal slander campaigns. Man, you already know I agree 100%. It don't make sense to attack the people you trying to get to spend money with you. That's crazy to me. But it's a
Mm.
lot of Stockholm syndrome that we see, where people, because of their need and want and desire to be accepted, they will spend the money with someone who doesn't, you know, GAF about them. You know what I'm saying? And that makes absolutely no sense. Well, it makes sense to me, but it's not my steez at all. Not my steez at all. Russell, you think we miss anything when it comes to culture?
No,
You
I
said
think
what's
we have covered everything on culture.
all right. So number 3, education. Is there anything being taught? Now I've heard about paid services where you're not really learning anything. And that's kind of nuanced because those of us that offer paid services, we know that there's always gonna be people that'll spend money and do absolutely nothing with the information. And that's at no fault of the guru or the person providing the services. It's you know, there has to be a certain level of responsibility on the consumer to take advantage of the information. So, you know, going back to my point, there's definitely some gurus out there that charge, and the information may not even be worth it. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes you spending that money to find that out. Um, but there are also gurus that provide just above and beyond in terms of expectations with the knowledge that they provide and the information that they provide. And it's the same thing on the free side. You know, there are some that don't charge for the knowledge that they or the education that they put out, and it's really good quality education. And then there are some gurus that don't charge, and it's a good thing that they don't charge because the education is shit. So it's really pros and cons on both sides of it.
Yeah. Now about the education, I've been in groups that have the greatest, education and information, but they don't know, they're not very good at, interpreting that information to their people.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that a lot.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
that that's definitely a good point. It's hard to say nobody left behind because you can't necessarily take on that responsibility by yourself. It has to be like a two-way street. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're putting out information that anybody can digest. And for me personally, when I create something to be consumed by someone, whether it's free or paid, I just assume that they know absolutely nothing. And that's how I approach putting out the information. I'm not one that likes to try to talk over people's heads. If this is my target audience, then I'm going to provide the information in the way that that audience needs it. And most likely they're going to be, I won't say beginner level, but it's got to be broken down into a way that people can take the information and capitalize on the information in whatever way they deem appropriate. Um, so yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to put out a product for um, an elite investor versus it's really for an elite investor, and then my target audience is somebody brand new to the markets. That's It doesn't make sense because they're not gonna, number one, they're not getting what they paid for. They just paid for great marketing. That's pretty much it. It was great marketing that attracted them, but then they get in there and they get overwhelmed and they don't do anything with the information. And as someone that creates, stuff, I used to have a very hard time with that, knowing that, hey, there are going to be some people that uh, will do nothing with this information that they paid for. But over time, you get kind of like, well, I've done what I can do, and that person has to step up to the plate too. Um, it, it I think that a lot of people are out here just to make money, which, like I said, get it how you live. But for me, and I don't have a large following at all by any means, but even now I feel a sense of responsibility when it comes to the information that I put out, whether it's free or whether somebody paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So I like to make sure that people are understanding what's being put out, and I like to get feedback from people, whether it's free or paid. Hey, do you have any questions? How's it going? You know what I'm saying?
and that's honestly a rarity right there, because
It is.
I've had people from other groups inbox me, and I had to re-educate them to keep them in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't matter if I like you or not. I don't want to be the cause of someone leaving. So
Right. Right.
and and you said this earlier to me when we were talking, like, people learn different ways.
Mm-hmm. They do.
And I'm kind of learning that right now.
Yep. Oh yeah, you was telling me about that earlier today
Yeah.
with the different ways in which people understand charts.
Yeah.
Like you got some people that can just look at the charts and they can understand it, but you got some people that's like, that's not enough for me. I don't understand why the chart is moving like this. So they need to understand, the reasonings behind those moves, which is okay,
Yeah.
but it's important that the guru identify that early on, really before you even take the money. And for me, I do that before I take your money. I need to know where you are and to see if we're a good fit for each other, because I'm not in this to just, take your money.
Yeah.
All right. David says, I think this is based on the market. Some people want a done for you service at different price points. Some people want to learn at different price points. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Qualifying your clients will help eliminate those who won't do the work. That's very true, Lenore. That's very true.
Listen, I used to go door to door, right? And if after 45 seconds I didn't see myself going anywhere with you, I would just tell them have a nice day and I would go next door.
Mm-hmm. It's no need in spending so much time trying to convince somebody on your product if they're not the right person. Like, you got to have that skill to be able to eliminate that early. Like, I have people that'll come to me and they'll spend money right off the rip, and then I have some people where we have to have multiple conversations. And I'm a pretty patient person. I'll have multiple conversations with you, but eventually I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to say, okay, maybe this isn't the right fit. Maybe you should go see so and so. And so, maybe they'll end up spending money with somebody else, and I'm not mad at that, because I can't be everything for everybody. You know, the people that are meant to come to me, they come to me. And if not, they go to somebody else who's the right fit for them. Latifa says, I've been in a group where the info helped a lot of people, but it didn't make sense to me. Nothing wrong with the info. I just believe some courses or approaches are better for different people. Everyone learns and understands differently. Very true. Very true. And that's one of the pitfalls to teaching in a more not a one-on-one setting, because with that one-on-one setting, you really have the time and the energy and everything to put into that one individual in the way that they learn best, versus the group setting where it's just like, oh, I just got to get as many as I can, not necessarily as many people as I can, but I got to reach the broader group, in order to disseminate the information more effectively. So yes, it's definitely it can definitely be like that, for a lot of people. So it's definitely pros and cons on both sides, where that being the consumer side and the guru side, where you want every single person that spends money with you to get that value. But when you get to a point where you're trying to scale your business, it's very difficult to reach every single individual like that. So unfortunately, people get lost sometimes. But that's something that you're going to see on the free and the paid side, because the free side is definitely going to be a lot of people. You're not necessarily going to see one-on-ones for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see anybody out there spending a lot of time educating people one-on-one for free. And if so, they're not giving you everything that you need. You know what I'm saying? But that's also on both sides. But for sure, with the people that are teaching for free, they're most likely, on like YouTube or something where they can reach a lot of people. And that moves into the next element, and that's access. So, like, what kind of access do you have to the guru that you're considering spending money or time with? Can I pick up the phone? Can I shoot a text? Can I shoot an inbox and say, yo, I need you to answer this question? Or, yo, can we hop on a call right quick? Because I got some questions for you. That kind of stuff is important to me. Now, if I'm not paying for your services, I don't have that expectation for you to answer me if I shoot you an inbox. I'm definitely not that type. I definitely try to, as much as possible, respect people's time because I like to try to respect my own time. At least I'm working on that. And I won't say I have the expectation for people who I pay for services, but it's definitely a little bit higher of an expectation when I spend my money with you. I want to be able to reach you. Not necessarily, I ain't gonna be hitting you up at midnight and shit like that. But if I shoot you an inbox today, I'm hoping for a response, within a week at minimum or at maximum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, I've had people send me messages of their guru just ripping them up for asking a question. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I feel bad for people like that.
Yeah. And, because, a lot of people think that, will have a tendency to believe that the less accessible they are, the more valuable they are.
Right.
And that can be true sometimes, but what I found most times it isn't.
And that's the thing with the people that don't charge for their services. They know this. Like they know that they don't have the bandwidth to sit down with each individual one-on-one and answer their questions, walk them through certain things. You just can't. Like you really can't. So in that part specifically, that's one of the things where I'm like, there shouldn't be any like shade throwing on either side. You know what I'm saying? Because of the different pros and cons on either side of it. But when you let's say I have a following of like 200,000 people and I talk about the markets and things like that. I don't charge anyone. I just put my information out on YouTube. I know every day that I come into this, make a video, make content, I know that I cannot possibly, me by myself, I can't possibly make sure every single person, 200,000 people, I can't make sure that they're using the information appropriately. Even if I paid, even if I charged, I can't do that for 200,000 people. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really a who's more right or who's more wrong, type situation. It really kind of depends, in my opinion. But me having that 200,000 people, I would never sit over here and be like, yo, check me out. I'm teaching y'all all this stuff about the markets and I ain't charging y'all for it, but them over there, they on some fraud shit because they charging y'all. So y'all need to be over here, with me, and I can't even possibly teach y'all everything. You know what I'm saying? And most likely the individuals that are over there, they're probably more specialized. They probably have the bandwidth to sit with that individual that's like, yo, I don't really learn best in group settings. I'm willing to pay you for your time so we can sit down and I need to make sure my questions get answered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true that. True that because I see that happening. Like that situation that you explained, I see it happening. And
All the time. All the time. And it's sad. Because I think a lot of new people coming into the space, they get taken advantage of on both sides and misled on both sides.
Yeah, and they kind of get that starstruck feeling, right? You're following someone with 200,000 followers, so obviously they know what they're talking about.
Right, exactly.
You know, and they could, or they could
Yep,
just be good at delivering BS.
yep. I
So
mean, it's all marketing, man. It's
yeah,
marketing.
yeah. So it gets to the point, like, if the person ever answers you, now you feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of being able to easily access these people.
Right. Court says oftentimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. Anyone can teach options trading. Yes, that's true. That's true. And that goes back to my point. If I don't like you, then I probably ain't gonna spend no money with you. I don't care how much you know. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care about none of that. I don't like you. You could be the best options coach, where I'm at in my life. I don't care. I'll go find somebody else, or I'll teach myself. But I'm not putting any money in your pocket if I don't like you. Matter of fact, um, I had a guy that we made a deal, and it was like, all right, this mutually beneficial thing, and dude turned around and said I scammed him. I'm like, oh, for real? And so then I blocked dude. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm not going to dignify this shit with a response or none of that. I'm going to just step away quietly, block you. And I just don't want nothing else to do with you. And so dude circles back like a year later, like, yo, I'm checking back with people that I used to work with to see if I can do anything for you. Fuck no, I'm not going to answer you. If I could block you from my emails, I would do that too. That's just the type of energy I'm on. Like if you own some shit where you're talking about my integrity and shit like that, no. I ain't putting no money in your pocket. I don't care what you know. I don't care what you can do for me. I'll find somebody else. But that's just me. The Lord is working on me. Corey said he used to do one-on-ones, but not anymore. He doesn't want to charge, but he feels like people not doing the pre-work he asked before the one-on-one. And that's true. That's
Yeah, what
true.
I did say earlier, people don't respect free.
Yeah, they don't, and the flip side of that is I've done a couple of courses with Corey and Jimmy at By the Hood, and those courses come with a consultation built in, so you can watch the videos, hit me up, and say, "Yo, I need some clarity on some things," and I'm like, "Cool, let's set that up. No extra cost." And the only thing that I request is, hey, make sure you've watched the videos, before you schedule this time. Write down your questions so we can maximize the time. You know what I'm saying? People don't be trying to do that. Because if you come into the one-on-one asking me a question that's answered in the video, then I'm gonna be like, did you really, like, you just wasting your time and you wasting mine? Because I'm having to say some stuff that's already been said. So, for me, when I do have those one-on-ones, that's the only thing that I ask, is that you be prepared so that we're not wasting time, because you don't really know what questions you want to ask. Brianna says that customer service aspect, always important. David says the access is tricky because I'm learned that consistency gets taken for granted. I'm very accessible. However, if it's vice versa, I will be on every group chat, or watching the replay. That's a good point. That's definitely a good point. People will waste your time in general, if they have access to you sometimes, and that's just me going back to I like for people to be prepared. If we schedule time to have a conversation, I like for people to be prepared for the conversation, because I definitely like to, in my one-on-ones, I like to try to deliver beyond expectations, if there are any expectations, and whether or not they paid me to do it. But yeah, that's something that definitely gets taken for granted too, Dave, because even in my group, I'll do a video and put it out, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it'll get watched. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, my people have access to me every day, right in a group chat, and a lot of people won't ask a question. Some people have a sense of I won't say embarrassment, but they get kind of hesitant about asking questions in group settings. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, but my inbox is open. You know what I'm saying? So people can come to me in my inbox. I'm not one that's gonna shame nobody for asking a question, even if it's the quote unquote simple question. Ask away. That's good. Thank you for your comment, David. Beyonce had to find hard to find, and she checking millions of parent. Yeah, man. Beyonce though, she Beyonce, but she built up that persona, you know, for sure. It's going back to what you were saying, Russell, about that lack of access having that value or perceived value. Think you on mute, Russell.
I know how to. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I see people who know how to use that like a charm, and I see other people that can't.
Yeah, it's some great marketers out here in these internet streets. Like they really good at it. For
Sheesh.
me, I gotta pay somebody for it because it's something that I'm working at. It's definitely not something that comes natural or is one of my strengths. My strength is price action. So
Yeah,
marketing,
my strength is data.
yeah, people, yeah. It's all a marketing game, even on the free or the paid side. It's marketing. Lenore said my block game is strong too. Protect your peace. For sure. For sure. Like I I don't I don't even act thuggish in real life. So why am I do it on social media? I don't have the time for that. I don't have time. You say what you want to say. I'm gonna just let you be over there saying whatever you want to say. But I'm not gonna spend my energy and my time trying to correct whatever it is that you're saying. I'm just like, whatever. Whatever. I know that the energy that I put out will come back to me. So bump what anybody got to say. But yeah. So did we miss anything with access, Russell?
Well, I see students, and for me, like with students, right, I will ask a student what they learned, in someone else's class.
Mm-hmm.
Not to necessarily, get free information out of them, but just to make
Yeah.
sure that they understand. And then if they can understand, that more than likely makes, what I'm saying, them a pretty good teacher.
Right. Right. Especially if I see a lot of people, if I see a lot of different students that are giving good reviews, then I for sure want to, pick their brains about, their experience. Like you said, you don't have to tell me any details of the program. Just tell me what your experience was like. Like, what's the culture like? What's the guru like? Do you feel like you're gonna be attacked if you ask a question? Like, do you feel comfortable in the space? Um, is the culture one that makes you feel comfortable in the space? You know what I'm saying? Um, what has been your return after spending money with this guru? Corey said, I play favorites. The more I like you, the better chance I get back to you faster. Hey, that's real talk though. That's real talk. That's real talk. Because even I'm not even gonna lie, even from the perspective of a creator, you got some people that are like, I don't want to use the word bothersome because nobody that I provide a service for, do I want them to feel like they're bothering me. But you get some people that you know for sure they haven't watched any videos or nothing, but they want to stay on your neck about something. Things that they can easily go and look at the videos and get clarity on, or things that they repeatedly keep asking me. That's probably my biggest pet peeve is to be asked the same question over and over and over again. Like I don't get an attitude about many things, but that's the one thing that can can sometimes bring me out of my normal character is just having to repeat myself. So well, what about you, Russell? Do you play favorites?
Yeah, of course I do. You know, and you know what I've learned with like people that don't understand the answers, they're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's and you have to tell them like 2 or 3 times, you know, because it doesn't bother me anymore. You tell them 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 different ways, and they'll finally get it.
Yeah.
You
Sometimes,
know,
yeah, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes, sometimes it'll come down to am I able to communicate the answer to them in a way that they understand? And sometimes I can't.
mhm.
So I have to pass them on to somebody else.
Yeah. You know, that's why I guess we have to do you know folks have to do the what was that the questionnaire to make sure a person is a good fit for you.
Yep, yep. I do, especially for one-on-ones. When I take on somebody one-on-one, I do a consultation. And most of my one-on-ones are centered on charts. So I'll do a consultation. I'll be like, yo, bring your laptop, be ready. And I'll have them to like pull up a chart and, show me what you know type thing. And we'll just kind of have a conversation, a general conversation about, my trying to get down to what they need specifically and seeing if that's something that I can provide. And sometimes I can't. I don't take on every single person that comes to me for a one-on-one. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, uh, although this right here is your issue, I don't think that I can help you with that. So I think that you should go see, so and so, or maybe I don't even have anybody to refer you to, and I just wish you the best on finding the information that you need. But even the people that I can't necessarily serve in that way, I try to serve them in some way by referring them somewhere to someone that I trust they'll be in good hands. Chris shouting you out, Russell.
Uh, you know I try, Chris, man, I try. 'Cause I'm finding like most people's questions are that they're very simple. It's just one little thing that most people don't understand, and once they understand that, they'll be good. You know, I can smack them on their butt and send them along their way.
And that's another thing that I try to remind myself of is at one time I was in their shoes where I was just totally brand new, didn't know a thing about what it is I know now. And I just think about how would I have liked someone to treat me when I was brand spanking new. How would I feel if, me as a newbie who genuinely just desires more information to get me to where I'm trying to go, how would I feel if I go to somebody and they just make me feel stupid with how they approach me in the answering of my question? Lenore says, remind them of the expectation set at the beginning of our time together because you're wasting my time and your money. Indeed.
Man, that's real right there.
The confidence coach is spoken.
Yeah, that's like Jesus said that.
So yeah, man. Does anybody have, any, final thoughts or anything? Um, that was just, kind of like a broad brushstroke on some things that we think are important, for people coming into the space and trying to decide on where they're going to spend their time and or money. Guru, culture, education, access, students. Like I said before in the beginning, of course, there are more elements that are important too, but those are just, 5 major ones that we identified in our conversation together. And we wanted to bring that uh, to the public, in the hopes that this can help someone in making that decision. Lenore said nicely, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Lenore, I'm pretty sure your clapbacks, your professional clapbacks, are just book worthy. I just know it. Corey said you guys are amazing. Man, I appreciate you pulling up with us, Corey.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. So who's the winner? Russell, who wins? Free or paid? Who's for the culture?
I honestly, I got to go with paid.
You gonna go with paid?
I would go with paid.
What y'all think in the audience? What y'all think? Y'all know my neutral ass. I'm gonna go with both. I'm gonna say for me, there's no winner, because it's paid folks out there scamming. It's free folks out there scamming. It's free folks out there giving the knowledge, and it's paid folks out there giving the knowledge. But for sure, if I had to choose somebody, it'd probably be paid. If I had to choose one.
Yeah, yeah.
Fred says paid, and I'm not. Of course, I'm not saying paid because I offer paid services. I'm not at all. So yeah, I, I'm not.
Mm.
Jose said this was a well thought out presentation on what people should look for when deciding on joining mentors or gurus. Thank you, Jose. That was definitely the intent behind the whole conversation. Like I said, we didn't want to get on here and be messy or anything like that. We really wanted the conversation to have an aim and a focus, and a purpose. Lenore says, paid. Stop expecting the culture to educate you for free. And of course, I can add on that cliche, Lenore, where ain't nobody talking about Walmart charging. We go in Walmart and we pay what they ask, no questions. And if we don't like it, we can go somewhere else. You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing in these financial literacy streets. If you don't like this guru, go over here.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay, you can go over here. It's as simple as that. I'm not hating on anybody either way. Latifa says paid. Court says I'm a Capricorn. Gotta say paid. Fred's laughing. Fred said, yeah, great convo. Lenore says, great discussion, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Like I said, I want to get this content out to as many people as possible, in the hopes that it'll help somebody, help some of those new folks coming into the markets that are just blinded by the light. And hopefully this can start a discussion, later on down the road, between, well-known people in the space and the new people coming in. Fred says, I think sometimes the hesitation to pay is that people have been burned so many times from other experiences. Exactly. That's very true. That's very true. And that goes back to, it's paid people out there scamming. Just because you're spending money with somebody don't mean you can't get scammed. We've seen scams on major levels in the white community, in all communities, we've seen it. And that sucks. It sucks because we tend to paint that entire experience, moving forward, with like a really broad stroke, and it's like, well, this person scammed me, so everybody doing this is scamming, so I'm just not gonna do it. And then you miss out on that information that you really need by just being kind of discouraged from trying again. Jose says, I like both, mainly because you got to meet people where they are. Some people you meet will have a free consult just to get their mind in the right place. Others will need a paid service. Otherwise, they will drain your energy looking for free money or for free info on the come up. I agree. I'm more right there in the middle too, Jose. Charlotta says, peace. What's up, Charlotta? Thanks for joining. And sometimes if it isn't a scam, the info just isn't good or enough. That's true too. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Any final thoughts, Russell?
You know what? I want to do one of these again because I want to talk about how to figure out who's a scam and who's good.
Oh, okay. Well, we can get multiple people in on that. we can for sure we can get multiple people on that and have a conversation about that for sure. I'm with it. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Any of y'all in the comments you want to participate, let us know.
So, I thought this was a really good discussion that really was needed.
For sure. Me too.
On these financial guru streets.
Man, it's rough out here. It's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
We trying to bring some order and some civility to it a little bit. All right, Chris says, I see value in both. When I pay someone, I'm more so paying for mentorship and a learning curve. Information is free. That's a good point. You paying for the person.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, y'all. We ain't gonna keep y'all on here too long. It's getting late. I definitely want you guys to enjoy the rest of your night. So grateful for your viewership and your participation and engagement. You guys made this conversation that much more fun and important and all that good stuff. Like I said, share this, subscribe if you haven't already, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we will catch you guys next time. Have a good night.
Y'all enjoy y'all evening.